We can't take our eye off what is largely a future threat. And that is, at some point, there's going to be a terrorist diaspora out of Syria like we've never seen before. Not all of the Islamic State's killers are going to die on the battlefield. Hundreds and hundreds of them, when the coalition succeeds, and I'm confident it will, in crushing the Islamic State, through the fingers of that crush are going to come hundreds of really dangerous people, and they're going to flow out primarily towards Western Europe, but we might as well be right next door to Western Europe, given the ease with which people can travel. And this is an order of magnitude greater than any diaspora we've seen before. A lot of terrorists fled out of Afghanistan in the late 1980s and early 1990s. This is 10 times that or more.
Hey there, everybody. This is Scott at Stand Your Ground Studio. And that right there was James Comey, FBI chief, who's talking about a potential outpouring of terrorists from the Middle East as the ISIL caliphate potentially begins to break down. And if you know my channel, you'll know that this is the latest step in the narrative that I've talked about all year in my playlist, The Road to World War III Exposes the Hierarchy. A major part of that narrative is that terror will be visiting Europe and the US in a big way in the very near future. Now, this article right here that comes with it doesn't add a whole lot to it or repeats some of what he says. And again, that mention that this is going to be 10 times worse than the outpouring from the late 80s, early 90s. So he's sending a big signal right there. There's another note down here saying that there's a fracturing of authority in Iraq, Syria, and Yemen, which has produced a massive migration of Muslims from those regions to Europe. And again, there's that mention of how there's a reactionary element from politicians saying that we need to keep them out, which, of course, there is an intent to break down national sovereignty through all this. But at the same time, in the mix are a whole bunch of people who have nothing to do with that and are in a terrible place, and we need to show compassion for those people. And down here, just reaffirming one more time, one Western counterterrorism official predicted a metastasis of terror as it becomes increasingly difficult for ISIL to hold on to core territories. In any case, however it goes, the real importance is that terror is coming home in a big way. And this, of course, is timed perfectly with the public outcry to explore why we've been in these wars in the Middle East for over a decade, and also the decision-making that went into invading Iraq and Afghanistan. So jumping over to my channel, we very recently saw the release of the Chilcot Report and the 29 Missing Pages. Both of those reports were meant to drive up speculation and to get us talking about those topics again. And you can see my videos on those reports right here. Bush's Dance unlocks the 28 missing pages from the vault, and the Chilcot Report puts the spotlight on Tony Blair and the Iraq War. Both of these came out kind of silently amidst all the other noise that was going on at the time, so it's worth taking a look at. And if you want to see more of how and why terrorism will get caught up in these topics, I covered that discussion in these 3 videos right here, which would be 3 Syrian terrorists caught in Germany, Senate passes 9/11 bill, Congress will clash with Obama, and Donald Trump warns of another 9/11. And they all cover a lot of territory. And talking about Donald Trump, all of this is also going to tie into the 2016 presidential race, adding more fuel to that fire. So remember back in May that Trump said something like this would happen. He said it was like going to be a major 9/11 style attack, which is entirely possible. But if anything along those lines happens, he's going to have the opportunity to play up all kinds of crazy rhetoric regarding his wall and xenophobia and anything else he wants to say if and when he's proven right. So I want everyone to keep an eye on that. But also, just a quick side note, he does have a way of pulling a strange 180 at key turning points, so we'll have to see how he plays it up. But whatever happens, it's not going to be a good thing. So, how all this plays out exactly remains to be seen, of course. One question is, will this narrative play out generally like I've been saying? I really do think so. Will any single event play out as cleanly as I've put it here? Probably not. Remember, there's a chaos agenda at play, and every topic is constantly being turned on its head. So even if someone were to theoretically to paint the perfect picture of how this will all play out, by the time it all happened, it would be as if we were looking at that picture through a kaleidoscope that someone else is constantly rotating. Going forward, the stakes are going to get higher, the corruption's going to come out, candidates are going to act crazier, and the news cycle seems to be speeding up every other week, so it's really hard to keep up with. And as always, once emotions flare up far enough, we're just not going to get through to enough people. So this right here is just one more confirmation of what I've been talking about for some months now. And as always, I created this channel to show people ahead of time how insane this world is going to become. If you haven't already, please seek out the one true God and His Son, Jesus Christ. I know it's not the most popular choice right now, but the world has lied viciously about His story and His namesake to keep people from literally having a prayer in the coming days. You are free to unplug from the Matrix at any time and recognize all of this for the spiritual battle that it really is. I am not a pastor, but I won't turn away any honest questions, so please ask away. I'll see what I can do. Maybe I can point you to someone who knows better than me. And that'll do it for today. Thanks again for watching. Please share this video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel for future updates. Thank you, and God bless.